memory's messed up and it's foggy.
I don't see it on page 215.
213,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
213. You said 15. Correct.
Okay. And then you also told them during that interview, I bought pills for Kouri 3 times, period. That's on page 165 if you don't remember saying that. If you remember that, you can just say, yes, that's, I remember.
I don't recall.
Okay.
What page?
165.
Yes. It says 3 purchases were,
Well,
oh, sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah, all 3 purchases were before it, yes.
You said there were 3 purchases all before Eric died.
Correct.
All right. They come back later and tell you that's not correct, right? That's not on the page, I'm just asking you. Did they come back another day and say, no, the last purchase was after Eric died?
The 4th one?
The new 4th one, yes.
Correct. Actually, yes, correct.
All right. You didn't remember that.
I don't recall.
All right. Finally, at the end of this interview, where you've said, and I'm not going to go through it all again, we've been through all the different things you said like 3 times. You said to them, just write it all down and I'll sign it.
I don't recall saying that.
Page 183.
Oh, yes.
You did. You said, write it all down, I'll sign it.
They wanted me to write it, and I didn't want to write.
No, they didn't want you to write it. You asked them to write it all down for you, and you'll sign it. Because to their credit, they said, well, no, that's not how this works.
Your Honor, objection.
To what?
I'd be a little bit more specific.
That wasn't a question, that was testimony and argument.
No,
It
the
is
question.
argumentative.
All right. I'll
You
say it in a
can,
nicer tone.
You
They-
have to ask a question.
They told you, or I'm sorry, you told them, write it all down and I will sign it, correct?
I asked if they could write down my statement, yes.
Right. You asked them to write it all down for you, correct?
To write my statement, yes.
For you.
As we wrote it down, as we spoke about it, yes, they asked them
And
if
you
they
would
could
just-
write it.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to over. You would just sign whatever they wrote,
No, not sign whatever they wrote. My statement.
that they were going to write for you, correct?
I asked if they could write it as I did it, as I
That's-
spoke about it.
That's not what you said here. You said, write it all down and I'll sign it, correct?
Your Honor, objection asked and answered.
I'm not sure we got a clear answer. I'm still not sure what's on that page. So the question, Ms. Lawber, just so we can move on from here, is whether the transcript shows
It
what
says
Ms.
yes.
Lewis states.
Can you guys write it and I can sign it?
Thank you. All right. We're going to move to the May 3rd interview because they come back. I think it might just be Detective Maynard that comes back on May 3rd. I don't know if you recall. According to my notes, Detective Maynard comes back on May 3rd.
I know Maynard came one day, but I don't recall the date.
All right. So that interview starts out with Detective Maynard saying to you, well, because of what we came up with, it doesn't look like you're going to be charged. Do you remember that?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. You're having a very, I mean, and I understand, this was 3
Just-
years ago. It's hard to
Yes.
remember.
It's a lot to process, period.
Okay, but you remember it now, right?
Yes,
Okay. But 4 years after it happened, you remember it. But a year after it happened, you didn't remember it.
what was the question?
It was probably not a very good question. I'm going to ask it
No.
again, okay? Sitting here today, you can't remember anything you said in these interviews. Well, not anything. That's not fair. A lot of what you said in these interviews, you can't remember.
This was 4 years ago.
This was 3 years ago.
Well, 3
but
years
yes.
ago, yes.
But sitting here today, you remember very well what happened 4 years ago with these now 4 transactions.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Let's look at page 3 of the interview on May 3rd.
What page?
Page 3 of the May 3rd interview. It
Still
might be in the next book, book 2.
Now what page? Sorry.
Page 3.
Okay, what was the question?
Detective Maynard starts out this interview by saying, because of what we came up with yesterday, you're not going to be charged.
Correct.
And you tell him, again, I'm willing to do whatever. Do you recall saying that?
I say, oh, okay.
Do you recall saying I'm willing to do whatever?
Yes.
Okay. All right. They tell you that they're going to have to talk to Susan Kohler, right?
Yes.
And that they tell you that, well, Susan could end up being charged with murder if her pills led to someone's death, correct?
I don't recall that.
Page 11.
Oh, it's wrong page.
And they tell you Susan could be charged with murder, but you're not going to be because you are helping us.
Correct.
All right. Now they start to ask you about Nicole Cummings. You brought her up a couple of times, but this is really the first time during the interviews that you talk with the detectives about Nicole Cummings.
Correct.
All right. And this is after you said that Kouri said, I need something stronger, maybe the Michael Jackson drug.
Correct.
All right. And you contact Nicole Cummings, who you knew, were you roommates briefly? Is that how you knew her?
She was my roommate's son's girlfriend.
Roommate's son's girlfriend. Okay. So,
So the bedroom I rented, it wasn't my house, I rented a room.
okay.
And her kids stayed there, and his girlfriend would
Okay, that makes sense.
pop. Yeah.
Okay. And at that time, Nicole Cummings was a user.
Correct.
All right. So you reach out to Nicole Cummings to maybe get something stronger than the prescription oxy that you had got from Susan Kohler.
I think it was after the second one.
Well, it couldn't have been because you met Robbie through Nicole, right?
Sorry. Okay, are we talking about, this is where I get confused because we have the 3. So if we're eliminating Susan's, just talking about Robbie's?
No, we're
Or are we
still,
talking about Susan's?
we're talking about after you bought from Susan the first time.
Okay.
You get a text from Kouri saying, my investor wants something stronger, maybe the Michael Jackson drug, which you don't know what that is,
No.
but it's not fentanyl.
No.
And that's when you do a face Facebook message to Nicole asking her to get you something.
I
Well-
actually have her,
I know what you're going to say, because I said that wrong. You did a Facebook message to Nicole saying you needed to talk to her.
correct.
All right. And when you talked to her, you said, I'd like some Roxy 30s.
I just asked her if she knew anybody that could get some pills.
That's your memory, is, so you don't remember saying, can you get me some Roxy 30s, or,
I think I named off a variety. If she
I'm
could
sorry,
get me,
what?
I think I named off a variety of pain pills.
Roxy 30s or blues, you said.
Yes.
What did that word mean to you at that time, blues?
Blues mean on the street that they are a man-made drug.
Okay. So we're talking about early 2022. Blues at that time did not necessarily mean fentanyl, right?
No, they meant fentanyl on the street. The street drug is blues for fentanyl.
I know that became the street name for blues, but did it mean that when you reached out to Nicole?
Blues are blues.
All right, okay. And she told you, you need to talk to my friend Robert Crozier.
She said I had a friend.
She arranged, like, gave you
She
her-
gave me his number.
Okay. But you don't remember, at least at that time, you didn't know what date that was.
No.
And they're trying to help you figure out when you bought pills from Robert Crozier.
Sorry, what was the question?
Detective Maynard, I guess I said they, but I think maybe it
You
was
said
just
they,
Maynard. Was trying to help you figure out the dates that you bought pills from Robert Crozier.
Yes.
And they tell you you contacted him twice for drugs. Robert Crozier.
I don't recall if that's what they told me.
We'll look at page 87.
Okay, what was your question?
They're trying to help you figure out the dates, and they tell you they find 2 dates that you contacted Robert Crozier by looking at your phone, right?
Correct.
Okay. You actually didn't remember Robert Crozier's name initially, right?
I actually knew him as he was up in Ogden.
Okay. Called him like the Ogden dude or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Somewhere up, yeah, the Ogden
Okay.
guy.
And they helped you figure out his name, right?
Actually, I told him if you would bring me if I had my phone, I could put it to link them together.
Okay. And that, I mean, they did. They found his contact in your phone, right?
Yes,
And
instead of
that's how you-
Robbie and Nicole.
Okay. All right. So they say you contacted him twice for pills, and you said, yes, that's probably right. I was probably meeting him for pills.
Correct.
And then you tell them, I hope that helps you.
Correct.
And they say, well, we need more detail than that.
They said I had to go into more detail.
They told you they needed more detail.
That I needed to go into more detail.
Okay. All right. So you're going back over again and about the first buy from Susan during this interview, correct? And today, or not today, I'm sorry, that day, May 3rd, is when you tell them that you fronted the money to pay Susan, right? Correct?
For Susan, yes.
Okay, but the day before, that's not what you told them.
I do not recall.
Okay, let's go back to the interview the day before, May 2nd.
Okay.
Can you go to the other binder with the May 2nd interview?
What page?
Ooh. Might have to help here. Go to page 40. Actually, maybe could you pull up 40? If I don't know what's quicker for you two or for me to walk up there. All right. Actually, would you take that off that? All right. So the day before, you tell Detective O'Driscoll and Agent Sorensen that somebody left the money for you in the fire pit. Look at the bottom. No, we may need to go to the next page. So on that interview, you're telling them you picked up the money in the fire pit, and then you picked up the pills, and then you went back to the Midway house and left the pills in the fire pit. That's what you told them on May 2nd.
Okay, what was the question? Sorry, I was just reading.
Okay. That on that day, you said the money was in the fire pit and you left the pills in the fire pit. We're talking about the pills that Susan Kohler sold you. That's what you tell them on May 2nd.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. And you said, I never exchanged money with Kouri.
Correct.
Okay. But now the next day, you said, no, I fronted the money to Susan. And then I went and put the pills and picked up the money all at the same time.
I don't recall that.
Okay, let's go back to May 3rd. Page 108, going over to 109,
Which binder?
the May 3rd interview binder 2.
Okay, go to what page?
108 to 109. That's when you changed your story to that you fronted the money to Susan, correct?
I'm on page 108.
So over to 109.
Gotta be in the wrong binder.
Needs some help?
Yeah, I think I'm confused on the binders. Because that one's showing different. Oh, yep, I was in the wrong binder. Yep, sorry, I was in the wrong binder.
That's fine, okay.
They're confusing me. Let me get this one out of the way.
Well, it's confusing.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where you're telling them, I didn't get any cash from Kouri ever.
I'm not sure what question is pending, Ms.
Yes.
Lewis.
All right.
What's your question?
I was backing up a little. I'm going to back up a little from the last question. You said you didn't get any money from Kouri ever, and then you said that you fronted the money to Susan,
Correct.
and then later got it in the fire pit. That's what you told them on this interview.
Correct, but I think I was mixing up the purchases.
That's not what you told them.
Your question?
Okay. I'm saying that's not what you told them, correct?
Correct.
You told them it was the Susan, the Susan Kohler purchase.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, and then they go back and they're still telling you, well, you still might be looking at time, state and federal time, right?
Correct.
But they tell you you're getting a big, giant get out of jail free card because of you helping us. Remember them telling you that?
I don't know if those were the exact words, but
Page 112.
something like that.
Bottom of 112 over to 113.
Correct.
Okay, you're getting a big, giant get out of jail free card from us.
Correct.
From them, okay. And I think actually Detective O'Driscoll was there at this interview. I think he's the one that told you that, right?
No, it's Detective Maynard.
Okay. I still think he was there, but we'll move on. But all right, thank you for clarifying that. All right. Because go to page 116. This is where Detective O'Driscoll.
Okay.
Let's do this. First, I'm just going to ask you if you remember, and if you don't, then look down at the page, okay?
Okay.
Do you remember that Detective O'Driscoll tells you something to the effect that this whole case is hinged on you, and you have to finish painting the picture because they don't have enough yet?
Correct.
Okay. So you go through your story again, correct?
Just listen to Ms. Lewis's question.
They go through so you try and go through the story again, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you tell them again that Kouri said, I need some pills for an investor with back problems, the first time she reached out, correct?
Correct.
And then you tell them that you know for a fact the first 2 times you bought pills were not fentanyl.
I don't recall that.
All right, let's go to page 127. No, actually, I'm sorry. Let's go to page 131, I think it is.
So 131?
Yes. Let me see. I'm not sure which page. Right, okay. Do you see down towards the bottom of the page? All right, so I know for a fact the first ones weren't. That doesn't help when you blow it up here. And then let's go to, do you see that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right. And let's go to 134.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, what was the question you were asking?
The question was, on this page, she says, I know the first time wasn't fentanyl. She said correct. right?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you was asking the question. What was it?
So at this point, you say, I know for sure the first time wasn't fentanyl. Correct?
It says here, I know for a fact the first one in the beginning was not fentanyl.
Okay. Now, can I see page 134? Okay. I'm going to look at, I can't find the exact spot I'm looking for right now, so I'm going to go back to that.
Counsel, may I just have a quick scheduling conversation with you?
At the bench?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just briefly.
Yeah, I think this will be an all right place to stop.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're going to recess for the evening. My now becoming traditional warning, please, though, hear me out. Do not talk about the case. Do not let anyone talk to you about the case. Please affirmatively avoid listening to, reading, or watching any report about the case on any source. Please do not do any internet searches about the case or anything you heard in the courtroom at all. Please enjoy your evening. Travel safe. We'll start again tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Please rise for the jury. Have a seat, thank you. Ms. Lauber, I appreciate your patience today. I need you to come back tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay? I need you to be here, ready to go again at 8:30 a.m.
Okay.
All right? An important instruction. Between now and then, you cannot talk to anyone about your testimony. You can say things like, I have to be back in court at 8:30 a.m. They're not done. But the substance, the questions, can't talk about any of that. It's as if you're still on the stand. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right. You can step down. Please travel safe. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Mr. Bloodworth, Ms. Lewis, Ms. Nestor, I'd like to make a record regarding the note from the jury and the action we took. Any objection?
No objection.
Note from the jury.
The note regarding the jury,
Oh, I understand, thank you.
not from the jury.
I got it.
I think this was written by a juror.
Oh, I had understood.
Yeah, this was passed out from a juror. So, during an afternoon recess, a juror passed a note to one of the bailiffs that read, quote, Judge, I'm having a little trouble with the handwriting, so bear with me here. Are there members of the audience in the courtroom that are sketching members of the jury? Question mark. Is that allowed without consent? Question mark. It is distracting and a concern. Please advise. In response to this note, court staff confirmed that there was a member of the spectators that was in fact sketching jurors and identifying the sketches by juror number. That sketchbook was confiscated. The sketches of the jurors were removed from the sketchbook. That person has been removed as a spectator, will not be allowed back in. We cannot have anyone doing anything to identify the jurors in any way. And then the jurors were informed by a bailiff, not by me, that we responded in that way, so they do not have to speculate about whether that's continuing. Okay, Mr. Bloodworth, anything further on that?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Nestor?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else on the record before we recess, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, sir.
Counsel?
No.
Okay. We'll recess for the evening. Please travel safely. Take care.
All right.
Court's in recess. Thank you.